take a seat back and wait for I almost want to say spiritual, etheric, something solutions, the most elegant solution for the next step to come in.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So, can you tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the real estate business? Because a lot of people listening this podcast, and doesn't matter what I say here, they say, "Wow, if 1 out of 5 they're going to Harry podcast and they're real estate millionaires, should be easy become millionaire in real estate." Can you tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the real? Is it really true that is a good vehicle in order to create wealth, the real estate?
I believe it is. Sorry, but again, I'm of the opinion, I love real estate. I'm forever an investor. I do know incredibly wealthy people who hate real estate, though. So this is where, and I learned a lot from a man called Garrett Gunderson, right? But this is where I think values-based investing really matters for everyone, because real estate is not for everyone. It's a slower vehicle, but for me, it is my number one priority out of my investment portfolio, both commercial and residential.
Wow.
So others, and I've done incredibly well with stocks, shares, equity, that playing market as well at the time that I did it. I lived off the proceeds while I was on sabbatical. So I love investing. I'm an investor by nature. It's actually part of my identity. So real estate is for those who enjoy, I want to say there is definitely a physical element of it. So I like the touch, the feel. There's a physical asset, because I look at wealth. A lot of people think it's just revenue and gross numbers, right? I tend to ask the question, well, please show me your balance sheet. I want to know assets, liabilities. I want to speak that language with someone. So it's more than just money. For example, you can be asset rich, but cash poor. It's okay. At least you're still asset rich. So a cash flow crunch is nothing but a cash flow crunch, So the good, the bad, the ugly. I believe there are amazing humans in real estate. I'm truly passionate about it. I served as a private buyer's advocate. So not a lawyer, not an estate agent. I did mortgage origination for years, working with the approved licensed mortgage brokers in the various banks in the various countries. But I was never one of those. I was what they used to call the secret weapon. So I would literally fly countries for people, go and investigate off-plan developments, like look at ground sites, new construction. I believe there's quicker money to make in. There's so many different ways you can make real estate work for you. Are you looking for flipping, which I've not done personally, but that's a whole avenue on its own. And I've got friends who are very successful in that. I love off-plan developments, multiple reasons, but also tax strategy and income strategy. Like, I have one money rule in my life. That's every asset must produce income for me. That's
Very
it.
good. You don't want to be asset rich only, yeah?
No. It's important. Trust me, I've been broke too. So it's fun, but there's a lot to learn, and different countries will have different regulations and different mortgage types. So what's available in Australia may not be available in the UK, and you live in London, and it may not be available in America. To me, America's got like 100 million different options and opportunities.
Absolutely. A lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Lot of very good financial vehicles that we don't have in UK.
Yeah. You don't have the UK or Australia or
in UK, you only can fix the mortgage for 5 years. You guys in US, you can fix it for the whole mortgage. That's amazing, right? So a lot of things that you can do in US that
have to.
Absolutely, in terms of lending, finance, and so on. So imagine in Spain, if you're first time buyer, you have to put 25% down. So imagine that's some money for some buyers residential, So they have different barriers to entry for real estate. Definitely, United States is amazing in this. My first business was real estate. So I was doing a strategy called rent to rent. We were renting the properties and then renting the units individually. Back on the day, I used to have hair back then. So imagine talking about 18 years ago, there is no Airbnb or anything like that. But the most important, it was a cash flow revenue thing, right? So every month we rented the property, the tenants pay us rent, so we pay mortgage, we pay the bills, we pay the contract and everything. But every month this thing was giving cash flow. It was totally the opposite. It was asset zero, only cash flow. Yeah. and what something interesting about the that business model, we only had to pay attention to the cash flow. This is what you said, right?
Yeah,
Because sometimes people buy the property just hoping that it's gonna go up in price, and this is an element that is more difficult to predict. Thing can happen. COVID can happen. Anything can happen. Interest rate, whatever, and something you thought are gonna get up in price, right? So it's important. This Christian piece of tip that you share with us, which I love it, which is every time all your investment, make sure that produce income. Same with the stocks, right? Some
yeah,
people, and for the entrepreneurs, we always share here in this podcast, right? Hey, you have a business. Okay, you have a business, this business, a lot of entrepreneurs take the money, reinvest in the business, take the money, reinvest in the business, take the money, reinvest in the business. And when they have a big business, making a lot of money, COVID happened, something happened, they go to zero and they lost 10 years of work, and then they have to start all over again. Whether would be more another way that they can diversify the risks. Okay, you have a business, this business is growing. Okay, hey, you know what? Buy a property that produce your income, and even the money from the rent that you take in after you pay the mortgage, you can use this money for marketing for your own business. But guess what happens? If something goes wrong with your business, still you have this thing that can produce cash flow. Because entrepreneurs, they are not always good investors. I believe that good investors, they are good, okay, because they have an ability to evaluate risk more and to check the due diligence. So a good investor is usually a good entrepreneur, but good entrepreneur not necessarily has to be good investor. And we know people that have exits and make millions, and they, oh, what can I do with this money? Then the friend come, hey, I have this property here that's gonna give you 40% return. Give me all your money. And you see, oh, we have entrepreneurs that have exit several companies. They have make a lot of money, and they took all this money, give it to a financial advisor, and then when they check after, a lot of zeros disappear. And this is when they realize that, oh, these people make money with the fees. They're not so
yeah.
interested in grow. Actually, I'm losing zeros here. And they need to start to take ownership and become a great investor. So, Christian, what message do you have for entrepreneurs out there? Because we want all the entrepreneurs from this podcast to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. And sometimes these get lost in translation, that it's as important to make money as to keep it. We have people in this podcast, 500 millionaire. If you hear the story, people make millions losing, make millions losing, make millions losing. Well, definitely that person doesn't have any problem in the capacity to create money. He
Yeah.
can create money. However, if you don't know how to invest it, or you don't take the poor decision investing that money, it's gonna
Exactly.
go. So tell us a little bit more about this. What message do you have for entrepreneurs?
The first part is such a boring word, but I have to say it. Mindset.
Yeah, investors are boring.
It,
Investors are
it's
boring. It's not fun deal with investors. I talked to all of them. They're serious. They wear glasses. They don't want the party. They when you go to, have you been in a family office event or an investment event? It's so
yeah,
quiet, so boring. You there, but hey, these are the people that would know that they can help you how to keep your money. So you need to become friends with these people, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, connections and relationships, and it can be fun. But I think this ties in with you've got to know what I'm going to use a light word, enjoy versus not. So, because there's so many financial instruments, as you touched on before, and there's so many different vehicles for investment. So be careful who you learn from for sure. So I've invested in myself and my personal growth with multiple wealth teachers, coaches. Mal Abraham, working with him now, recently last year, did gosh, I think it was 4 or 5 months with him. Anne Wilson, the wealth chef, South African with plenty stakes in England as well. Seriously, one of the few financially free women I know personally. She is incredible. So the wealth chef is a good resource. The Point Garrett is one of my favorite resources. And every time that man offers a workshop or something, I'm there. I'm online. I don't care what time it is at night. I'm there and I'm learning and I'm growing. So the first part is mindset, because you have to be able to identify what areas specifically, because the word investment, the industry is broad. What lights you up? Where you're most passionate. I've got friends who have made small fortunes with vending machines, as one example. It's not for me though. So I don't want to dip my toes there. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm aware that it does work for people.
They are very good actually.
Yeah.
There's no way ahead. It's a very business model actually. This vending machine
they're
things. They're
loving
brilliant.
it. Yeah. I haven't yet. Like, I prefer real estate. I love stocks and those sorts of portfolios. I love businesses. So multiple businesses. A trust is an entity. For example, now you get how many different types of trusts? So you family trust, share trust. You can even get a pet trust in the USA, which I didn't know until a few years ago. So there's so many different.
A pet trust?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
You think about the really wealthy people with incredible racehorse breeding stallions worth multiple millions of dollars, as an example. That can come into play in those families. So those family offices start dealing with incredibly high value animals, you know, that have a legacy of their own and can go on in perpetuity without you. So again, what is the vision? Are you just here to make the most of life, which I think we all should in the best ways we can, and have fun while we're here? But part of my vision has already long ago been identified. What lasts in perpetuity of you? So one of the first steps to becoming wealthy is get savvy tax advice from a tax strategist. I had to get international tax advice, being a foreigner living in South Africa, who then started working in America long before I came here. Like, you've got to get good advice, because an accountant is not a tax strategist necessarily. Carlton Dennis, I follow him online. I don't know him personally. I love his work though, and I follow him online. And I learn from his workshops, and I still learn. Like, every week that goes by, I'm learning new tips, tools, ideas, concepts, new tax codes, new laws that we can take advantage of. Like, we get rewarded for being what I number one quality I think any of us need is resourcefulness. So if we aren't where we want to be, it's not because we lack resources. It's because we're not being as resourceful and creative as we could be. You know, so what's the old saying? Whenever you think you've done all you can, you haven't. There's always more, but this is the surrender part. This is the personal power part. Just let it go, surrender, because constantly trying to turn up ideas from the same level of consciousness that got to you where you are isn't going to get you necessarily to the next level. Sometimes you really do have to just stop, take a seat back, and wait for I almost want to say spiritual, etheric, something solution is the most elegant solution for the next step to come in. You can only hear that when you're quiet, when you're grounded, when you're literally at present with yourself.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.